Welcome to Bubble CRM instructional video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a new project from an existing lead. This is an action that can only be done using the admin account, as is the case with previous videos. So as usual, we open on the dashboard page, and to get started in creating a new project, we're going to first go back to the Leads tab, and it's from the same page that we created a client in the previous video. And so today we're going to take the next step and create a project page for that client. So from the lead here, we see John Doe. We can confirm here that the status of that lead has been changed to converted sale, meaning we've received the specific documents, completed design plan, and a deposit for the project. And then in the right here, we have the action menu. So we're going to click that. And if we come down, we've talked about several of these options, but here we have change to project. So this is going to be the first step that we take. So we'll click change to project. And here we see some requests for information. So the project name has not been auto-populated. So I'm just going to, using the same naming system as before, last name, first name, I'm going to put John Doe's information there. Some of this address information and email has been pre-populated. If any changes need to be made to that, we can make them now. Now here is where we put the contact information. Now the contact person is the focal point for the installation. This may be different from the client themselves, and so it's important to clarify with the client who will be present on the day of the installation for this project. So in this case, I know that it's actually going to be John Doe again, so I'm going to leave, or I'm going to keep his name there. The project status here, if we click this drop-down menu, there are several options. Not started, in progress, on hold, canceled, or completed. So of course we haven't started this yet since we're just putting this information in now. Moving on down, installer information. So here we have two installers currently in this demo platform. So I'm going to click installer 1. And now it's requesting a bit more information. Now everything here does not need to be input right now. Of course, if we have this information and we know who the installer is going to be, then of course it's better to put it in, but this is something that can be completed at a later date or even after the installation has occurred, and that will just depend on the process required. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I've designated installer 1 here. I'm going to leave the commission column blank, and the commission type is fine as a percentage. The install date is important, so I'm going to put this here. Now I know that the installation for this project is the 10th of July, and so it's the install start date and the end date are the same. It will be only one day. Now here I'm just going to change the time, so it's going to start at 10 a.m. and it will actually finish a bit earlier, so we'll say 4 p.m. Moving down, I know that this amount here is $5,000 and the sold date is today. The discount, it's not required to put in 0, but I like to fill all of the different fields. So 0 here, and then discount type, we can put dollar or a percentage value depending on the preference. And then commission info, this commission is relevant for the designer. So I know that it's a 12% commission rate. Again, we could put a dollar value here if we'd like, but for now I'll put 12%. The client info here is John Doe, of course, and then the select designer is the same designer that we created in previous videos, Danny. So I now know that that is correct. I'm going to click save, and it brings us to this pop-up window here. So for this window, now we're going to be confirming the actual installation date. So what we have is the schedule name, John Doe. Description, we can put anything that's relevant for the actual installation itself. So I know after speaking with John Doe that they prefer that the installers go through the side gate for entry into the house. So I'm going to just put that here. Now that is a note that everybody who can see this account will be able to read. Confirming the start and end date of the installation, it is the same day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Schedule type, so what we're doing here is confirming that the client knows that this is the date and time of the installation. The status of the install is either incomplete or complete. Of course, for now it's incomplete. Project is for John Doe, and the attendee or the installer here is named installer 1. Now it auto-populates a little bit of information below as well. And then here we have a couple of checkboxes as we've seen in previous videos. So we can either repeat this project install day if it's going to be over several days. And we can also send a reminder to the installer if we want. So for now, I'm going to leave those both unchecked. Now we'll click submit. Now here what it's done is it's taken us back to the leads page, and we can see John Doe here. But what I want to do is just confirm here that the install that I've just input information for has in fact been put on a schedule. And so looking at this left-hand sidebar, we have two tabs. One is appointments and one is the install schedules. We talked about in a previous video what the appointments calendar does. And if we just click that for a reminder, now here we have all of the designers. This is the designer's schedule. That's appointments linked to leads that designers go for consultations with possible clients. Now the install schedule is the same layout, but here what we have is from the monthly view, we can see the different installed dates that have already been input into the system. And here on the 10th, we can see John Doe. That installation is put into the schedule correctly. And in fact, if we right click it, we can even go in and click edit and make any changes to the information as we need, and also just confirm that everything is correct. So for now, I'll just close it, and we can see that that is correctly input into the platform. So just going back to our visual here, reviewing the relationship between some of these different tabs. The first step that we did, created a lead, and then from that lead we set up an appointment for a designer to go visit that potential client. And then from that appointment, the process was followed, and the necessary documentation was received, a finalized design and a deposit for a project. And so we created a client profile through that existing lead, which was step 2. And then the third step that we've just taken is inputting more information on the project and then confirming an installation date that is also put into a calendar in the Bubble CRM platform. And if we click here, we can finally just see the confirmation of the project that we've just created.